I'm Dr. Benjamin Franklin, born in Boston, late to Philadelphia, with some residences in London and in Passy, near Paris.
I'm so glad that you're interested. When one is alive, it is, of course, very flattering when someone welcomes you, remembers your name, or knows something of your accomplishments. Welcome, please come in. Come way down to the front. It is indeed welcoming and very nice and flattering when people remember your name.
I've been called forward because it seems that many of the issues that I and my friends faced are issues that you still face, and perchance there are some of my perspective and some of my methodology of how to deal with our problems may transfer over to your times. Anything, any help that can be given to fellow humans, to fellow of this humanity, is certainly my privilege and pleasure to render.
Ships' captains and sailors and councilmen from the government over to our house to sup. And it was at this table that I sat and I listened to the world being brought to me with words. Travels from afar, how different governments operated, the languages that people spoke. And it was this that really began giving me an idea of the greater world.
It's much better to engage the audience than simply, I'm the actor, you are the audience, you are to sit there and observe me doing great art. I think that's silly. Yeah. Is that, no, I'm going to be in the audience, talking with you, touching, hiding behind you during the scene, or with Franklin, letting you ask me questions in the presentation, because I think it's just more fun for the audience.
My father, Josiah, had many children to raise, and he could not attend his craft that he was trained on in England, which was that of a silk dyer, making fancy fabric a different color. When he came to America with his wife and 3 children, he had to take on a new profession, and he began to boil soap and make candles. You do this with animal fat. You have to boil it down from the hides of slaughtered animals. I can tell you the process stinks, and I didn't like it much. But unfortunately, we lived above the shop, and so I had the smell about me at all times.
Theater is like fire. Fire, you must have 3 things, and any fireman will tell you this. If you get rid of the fuel, the fire goes out. If you get rid of the heat, the fire goes out. If you get rid of the oxygen, the fire goes out. You no longer have fire. Theater is the same way. You must have the fuel, which is the script, the subject matter. For me, it's about all these years of studying Franklin and reading his letters and everybody else. You must have the heat, which is the performer, the presenter. And that's what I try and bring to it, my personality and my understanding of Franklin and my ability as an actor to become him in some degree. The third thing you must have for theater is air, and that can only be supplied by the audience.
And I think that time may have a bit of a parallel between mine and yours. For indeed, there is much difference between my time and yours. We lived in a 5-mile-an-hour world at the most, and that's on a good horse. There was a hemp line attached to a silk cord, silk being an insulator, and the final thing that I did to ensure my safety was I handed the kite string to my son.